Cause mom is on this guy. What?
I heard your mom was trying to call me.
Yeah? Did you say hey?
Mistakenly called you a few times.
I just met you. This is crazy. But here's my number. Everybody's phone's going off.
No, yours. No business phone.
That's your phone too.
No, it was mine.
Whatever you say, Micah. You like watching me. It's cool. Oh, Maurice won. Matthew lost. Sorry. Nope. No more firsts. All seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths. Not first. Nate's not first. The first game is strong, indeed. What's up, Spectre? What's up, Miles? So, today, we're going to do an Error 56 phone. Hopefully it's not a complete nightmare. Supposedly this phone was run over. What's up, Tim? Stay safe over there. This phone was run over and then swapped into a new frame, so I'm really hopeful that it hasn't caused any damage anywhere else. The phone is Error 56 on restore. It gets to the NFC baseband area and then fails. There is a pretty sizable dent right there. There's a lag between my capture card and what you see. So there is a dent over top of baseband, which kind of worries me. What's up, Eric? What's Error 56? It's usually NFC. The NFC module is not functioning. Nivaldo, what's up? You know, want my money? Yeah, I do. Ashley will be here soon to invoice you. Milk cleaned it, won't power on. I would suggest looking at the motherboard and seeing where there is damage, because chances are you're going to have some damage. What's up, Greg? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and continue pulling this board out. Really hoping we pop this off and NFC module's broken or some obvious bin damage around it. I hope it's not baseband related. If it is, not a huge deal, but I'd just rather not dick with baseband if I don't have to. Might be too complicated for you. No, you just get out a magnifying glass or a microscope if you have one and just go around the board and look for damage. Fix it and move on. Most of the time on Macs and other computers, if there's a problem, it's usually, if it's liquid damage, it's usually visible damage. If it's something that randomly failed, that's a little different. It can be a little more complicated. Because then you're just hunting around for anything that might possibly look bad. We'd be out of business if it wasn't for iPhones. What's going on? Chris, can you tell if there's iPhone no service baseband problem or just operating similar? Perhaps emergency call should be possible. Maurice, if you dial star pound 06 pound, if the IMEI doesn't show up, then it's most likely baseband. If it does show up, it's probably not baseband. It's going to be something else. You missed me? Yeah, I haven't streamed in a while. We've been really busy. I finally got caught up some. I've got like 4 or 5 mail-in things left and then a few walk-in stuff to do. I did that when I plugged it in. Spark came out near the battery connector. Most likely you have a short then, Navaldo. How do you deal with people blaming you for breaking other things on the phone you know you didn't do? When they bring in a device to sign a paper that says if something else is broken on the phone, we're not responsible unless we're just completely negligent and break it ourselves, which rarely is the case. I'll claim if I tear a cable or something, but I'm not going to replace something if it's obviously not something I did. Alright, so looking on the back here, there is a dent right here over where the NFC chip usually is. Also looks like there's a bend right here where the other NFC chip is. So we're going to pull this back and see if there's any obvious physical damage. Okay, so first we'll look at our NFC chip here. It looks pretty good. Now we'll come over here and look at the other side. So I don't see anything overly out of place there. Don't see any broken components. This is bent down right here, right next to where the NFC chip would be, or where it is. This corner is bent down, so we might reflow that and see if we get a change. We'll also have a video I'll do later. We're going to do a giveaway. Are they important for the phone to boot? No, but they're important for the phone to restore. If they can't restore with NFC, mainly the NFC CPU, which is the larger black chip, the smaller one is just like the antenna control. So, like, if this one here is missing, I don't think it'll keep it from restoring. Let me get it in focus. This one, if it's missing, I think it's okay, but this one here, if it's gone, it won't work. So we'll start by reflowing this chip. I'll clean out around this one and possibly reflow this one also, but I don't think that this one's a problem. I think we're going to be looking strictly at this chip here. So let's get our coins. Oh yeah, people are always ready to blame you for something. Ian, the easiest way to do it is related to something that people understand. So, like what we do is like a screen replacement. If we do a screen replacement and then they're like, well, my phone doesn't charge, I'll be like, well, I understand. I'm sorry that that's happening, but if you go to a mechanic or a glass replacement place and you're like, they replace your windshield on your car and your car stops charging the battery, does that mean that the windshield replacement caused it, or just coincidence? We had one come in, somebody did a screen replacement on, and then all the audio stopped working, like mics, everything. They replaced the microphones and both speakers and still nothing changed. And the lady was like pissed off at him, and I replaced the audio codec on it, and audio worked for a little while, and then it stopped again, then it would work, and then it would stop. So I figured it had to be something with the board itself, or maybe software. But I told the lady, I was like, if you took your car in and they replaced the windshield on your car and your radio stopped working, and there was no obvious signs that they destroyed your radio, do you really think that they broke your radio? So yeah, I worked on your engine, not on your tires. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it sucks when things happen like that. It really does. I mean, I know how it feels as a technician. You don't want people to sit there and think that you don't know what you're doing, but at the same time, you have to be confident in yourself and explain to them that you're not happy that this has happened, but it's not something that was caused directly by what you had done, but you'll be happy to try to help them to get it resolved. Usually, if you've already done work with him, I just offer some type of discount. People are usually okay with taking a discount repair. Okay. That reflowed. I don't know why the camera's lagging. I think it had a software update, so I have to check that out. This video is not available for remote playback. A 5-page disclaimer. We just have them sign a sheet. I mean, if they don't like it, they signed it, so. If they want to try to sue you over it, then have at it. That's always the empty threat that everybody makes. I'll sue you. Okay, well, fucking do it then.
Sue me. Sue me. Sue me.
Sue me over this fucking $50 repair. No ear speaker. Audio hips jumped? What hips? Filters? If you have no ear speaker, I would check the filters next to the FPC. Alright, so let's try to restore this again and see what it gives us now. Alright. Let's plug this in. Alright, the phone is in recovery mode. I'm going to switch you all over to the secondary monitor. And we'll try a restore on this again. So it gets to about 60% and then it jumps to 80 and that's where it fails. So we'll see if it gives us an error 56 again. 80% on 3U tools is the baseband NFC area, so. Filters checked and replaced. Still no ear speaker. There's several codec lines that go to the front ear speaker. You may want to check all those. Also, make sure that the actual ear speaker is good. Do an ohms check across. Does it look like legit? No, if it's on Amazon, it ain't legit. Most likely it ain't legit. Some of it might be, but usually not. No, that's fake as fuck. Do not buy that. He's legit. I don't know. That stuff looks awfully yellow. The AMTECH that I have isn't that yellow. It's kind of an opaque color. It kind of looks like washed out. You have a 6S, no image, no backlight, chestnut pull, backlight driver pull, backlight filters shorted to ground as well. Backlight filters are shorted to ground. You need to check the output caps in. You want to know if L1 on Mason on a 6 Plus, all you need is a jumper to the component, or do you need to run it to the VIA that shows on ZXW? L1, I would say just run it to a nearby component. Yeah, LCM reset line. I mean, image problems could be a lot of things. No image could be missing reset. It could be missing enable. It could be a missing voltage. It could be a missing data line, clock line, GPU power. We have one here that's well, we already sent it back, but we had one here that was a CPU was not, or the GPU was not getting power. It was turning the LCM on, but the image was just a bunch of random colors and shapes. All the other voltage lines were there, but the GPU had no power. I replaced the PMIC and it still had no power, so I assumed that it probably had damage to the CPU. It was or GPU. What's up, Q-Tech? What's up, Mark? I agree, Jessa. I think he had a shorted cap to start with, and now he has no image because he's pulled chestnut and backlight driver. Well, chestnut for image, but the original problem was probably just a shorted output cap on backlight. Alright, so we're about to see if this reflow fixed the problem or if we're going to have to do a little more digging. Hopefully it fixed it. Please. 6 plus and no touch. Replace both ICs, still no touch. Eric, some of those are real weird. You're gonna have to check your grate voltages. You could be just missing a grate voltage, and it could be as simple as maybe chestnut's bad, or you have a short on maybe one of the chestnut or outputs to Cumulus or Mason. Check the 5E7 Mason line and all that stuff. Alright, updating Stockholm. Is it going to fail? This is where it'll fail if it's going to. I don't know how confident I am in this one. I didn't see a whole lot wrong with the area around Stockholm. But we'll see if there was a cracked solder joint. The only thing I fear is there is a dent right above baseband CPU, and I'm fairly confident baseband and Stockholm talk to each other. Please, bro, city. You're just gonna have to wade through them. Just don't answer every question. Please update, please. Don't give me error 56. I don't have to do any more than that. Majority of the time, the error 56 I've seen, that main processing Stockholm chip is the cause. We shall see, though. It's taking a while, which usually doesn't bode well. Please, bro, please. Is re-hot in the Urban Dictionary? Probably. Re-hot CPU, bro. We wait for the error. I have a feeling it's going to error out. It's just taking too long on Stockholm. Re-hot. Had 2 Carolina Reapers coming our way. Micah said he's gonna eat one.
I will.
Said he ain't no bitch.
Ain't no bitch. Chris, you a bitch? Mama didn't raise no bitch.
I didn't raise no punk. Updating Stockholm forever. Micah, don't give me no lines. Keep your hands to yourself. Oh, God. Oh, it worked. It went past it, I think. It's sending baseband data now. Unless baseband's fucked up and then gives us error 56. The one chip challenge? What is that? Creating the system key bag. What's that? I think it's gonna restore. It's further on the loading screen on the phone right now. So it looks like we had error 56 due to it's a version of Stockholm Syndrome. Yes, it is. It's further on the screen as far as how far it's restored. Before it stopped about halfway when Stockholm was giving me an error. A chip with Reaper dust on it? Man, fuck. I've eaten some really hot sauces, but not like just like keep eating it. Like put a little bit on it, eat it, and then don't eat it again. So it's a little different, I think, but you'd say it's fake. I agree. I think it's fake AMTECH too. Just by it. I mean, I don't know if Jessa sells it, but Lewis sells it. Hey, it restored. So that was our problem. Jessa's streaming now. How to find diode shorts. Or how to find any fault. Yeah, she went live. She's probably over there cussing out all the Pleats bros. She's like, fuck everybody. Alright, so we'll wait for this one to come back on. I actually probably will go over and watch Jessa's stream too. If it's still on. I'll probably do another repair. We got a few here. I'm not sure what all is wrong with them. Here, look at this one. iPhone 6. What's wrong with it? Look at there. Fix that one right up. Jesus Christ, all the fucking letters. No sim. Jimmy, you've replaced the Flex, I assume, also. Hey, Maurice, don't feel bad, man. I've had days where I cannot get anything fucking fixed. Like, it drives me nuts. Like, I think we had a day where I don't think I fixed a single board all day. It was just failure after failure. Error 14, put it in Navi Pro, still error 14. Try new NAND. What's up, Freddy? Hey, Freddy, do you have a hookup on getting the Morrissey socket? I think I'm going to get one because I'm really tired of using my solder down board. I really want one with a socket. Waiting for this thing to finish setting itself back up. It's showing up now. It's just taking a sweet ass time to activate or do whatever the fuck it's doing. Putting out some heat. Putting out that heat? Yeah, like the one I borrowed from you. Anything that'll interface with the booster box from EMC Pro. Let me unplug this for a second. Sometimes they hang because they're trying to activate, even though they shouldn't be trying to activate. Let's go ahead and do the activate now. It probably failed. Yeah, no SIM card. The phone is on, but it's just hung on the last setup screen. We'll give it time. 0 cycles, yeah, it's a new battery. He just put it in here. He switched out the battery because he thought it was causing it to air out. Is there battery gauge lines around the Wi-Fi IC on the iPhone 6? No. The gas gauge stuff shouldn't go any further past Tigris, and Tigris should talk to the CPU. Yeah, Freddie, let me know on that IC also. Thank you. Well, this phone seems like it's just going to sit on the screen forever. We'll put it over here on charge. Make sure it doesn't die. Well, it's doing whatever the fuck it's doing. Oh, there it goes. Turned on. Alright, so we're back to the main screen now. So that one's done. That was just an easy repair. So I'll pull this board back out and show you all what I did if you weren't here. And what the most common error for error 56, what the cause is at least. And not always has it been this, but most of the time it is the Stockholm chip. The thing you have to check, and I've noticed this on a lot of newer phones now. Well, not newer, but phones I've seen recently. Let me switch you all back over. So, down here in the middle, these lines that are on your battery connector, those are your data lines. So sometimes what happens is these get worn out. See how the pins are nice and they're sticking out quite a bit, and they're still sprung out. We've noticed some where the battery connector has been kind of rough, like they've been rough with it, and those pins get pushed back. So what happens is when you plug the battery back in, those pins aren't making connection, so the phone doesn't know what the actual battery percentage is supposed to be. So it either won't charge or it'll show the incorrect number. Sometimes that can be TriStar if it's not charging, but if it's showing the incorrect number or it's kind of all over the place, that's usually a data line issue, and that's either Tigris or the battery connector or the battery itself. So keep that in mind if you're having problems with the battery percentage. Check the simple stuff. Check the connector, check the battery, and then go to Tigris. So anyway, as far as the repair goes, this one was just Stockholm had been broken from its connection because this board had been run over. There's a bend right here, right next to Stockholm, so it probably broke a solder ball under it. We reflowed Stockholm, got the solder liquid with a nice amount of flux under it, and it's now working again. So that one was fairly simple. Sometimes that chip actually will die and you have to replace it. It's not tied to anything. You can replace this chip. You can replace this chip also. There's nothing on the back of the 6 other than Wi-Fi that's tied to anything. So PMIC, both touch ICs, the NFC, Stockholm, audio, and I can't remember which. I think this is for like the gyroscopic stuff, like the barometric pressure and the gyroscope and stuff go through that chip, the silver one there. But nothing down here is tied, so you can replace pretty much everything here. Alright, so we'll put that one back in the frame, and we'll go into our next one. Chuck's hanging out over there on Twitch. I need to go through the Twitch settings and get it set up so it actually saves my streams. It hasn't been saving any of them, so Twitch is just bare. Yeah, this one was a fairly easy repair relative to what we normally deal with. I've got one here that is a 6S no service, and I asked the guy, I was like, do you know if anything happened to this phone prior to? And he was like, no. So I was like, okay. So I opened it up. On the iPhone 6, Maurice? Yeah, I've replaced them before. sometimes it's not the actual, like, the button piece. Something on that ribbon flex fails, so I actually have jumped wires directly from the button directly to the FPC to make the home button work again. There must be like a filter or something on that thing that fails, because the resistors for the home button are all on the board. So I don't know what exactly fails on them, but why is the Wi-Fi IC tied? Because the NAND stores the MAC address for the Wi-Fi, so you can change the Wi-Fi out, but that's the only chip on the back that actually shares any information with anything else on the board. Well, so on the 6S, we've seen one common fault that is caused from physical damage that can cause no service on 6S, and then there's other issues. So I'll continue with that story. So I asked him, I was like, is there anything wrong with this phone? Has anything happened to it? He said, no, nothing's happened to it. So I opened it up, and there's liquid damage in it. And I wrote him back, and I was like, so nothing happened to this phone before it lost service? He's like, no. I was like, well, it has liquid damage. He was like, oh, yeah, it has liquid damage. It's like, okay. You don't think maybe that has some reason to do with why it doesn't have service? Like, I kind of need to know, like, did they drop it in water and then it stopped working? Or what happened? Like, that helps me out. But I'll show you here on the 6. This is true on the 6S also. Right here above this screw mount, this chip here and some of these components are tied to baseband. So there is a data line on this stuff right here that can be damaged if you slip your screwdriver and hit all this stuff and break it. And we've had a couple iPhone 6S's where somebody slipped their screwdriver and they hit this chip and broke a corner off, and that was causing searching no service. Okay, Paul, thanks. Rubber hose time for that customer. We did a bunch of touch ICs today. I've done 8 touch ICs. I've done 3 TriStars. Now an NFC chip. What else do we have? I've got that no service one. And another touch IC. So we might do 9 touch ICs today. I also did a MacBook earlier. I've got another Mac I have to finish up. I've been dicking with it for a while now. I can't get it to boot up correctly. Hoping to get it solved, get it out of here. But one complaint I have, any fuckery from Mr. Finch? Yes, we have stuff from him too. We have some stuff we need to send out to him too. Micah spent 2 days working on iPod Touch 4th Gen.
Fuck that thing. Never again.
Ian, it may be NAND related, it may be something else, I'm not sure. On a 6S, where does PP0V9 start? An LDO? I would guess it originates from PMIC, but I'm not sure. Mike has never done an iPod Touch 4th Gen, and that one was rough on him. He got back together, but it took him a little bit. Tell him, Micah. Tell him how you got trolled.
Fuck. I don't think it was worth the cost of repair.
Yeah.
Should just threw it in the trash and kind of got it used.
Fifth gen.
Fifth gen, yeah.
What's up, Yassine? What does that voltage go to, Nate? Replacing PMIC on a 6S is not something that normally is required. PMIC on the 6S is underfilled. Only time it's really necessary if the line is shorted completely. And it's pretty much guaranteed it's coming from PMIC. Rehot NAND? No, do not rehot NAND.
Yes. Always rehot.
A 0.9 volt line sounds like it's CPU related. If I was guessing. Or SOC, one or the other. Where's the donate button? We have one in the description, and there you can also do super chat. You owe me something? No, you don't owe me anything. Donations are not a form of payment. You don't owe me anything. Donations are just if you feel like donating. Friend guys, Touch IC on iPhone 6, but the shop took a cheap fix for it. Sounds like they only applied something to the top of Mason to apply pressure. Oh yeah, guaranteed. I had one today like that. What's up, Mohammed? We had one today that had they had actually broken. Yeah, it's been a while. They had actually broken Cumulus with whatever they put on top of Mason, so the phone had no touch at all. I had to replace Mason and Cumulus. Like, they took a chunk out of the side of Cumulus. What did you miss? Not much. Not much. I fixed the Air 56 phone. It's right here. It's up and running. Man, this one's doing the same thing. Has anybody else noticed with iOS 11 the power button doesn't work? Like, it'll work on the main screen, but it won't work any other time. Like, it'll turn the phone on, and it will also activate the SOS. Let me see if it works. See if the SOS works. Yeah, see, SOS works. But the power button doesn't work anytime else. Is that only with the SOS on that the power button doesn't function properly? Like, if I keep clicking it, it'll power the phone off. The issue with this one was the Stockholm chip had been, solder had been broken under it after it got run over. Yeah, Mark, we've had several iPhone 6 Pluses that the power button won't work other than on the main screen. Go further into setup and it'll work. I have some, Nate, that have been set all the way up on the home screen and they won't work. Like, you can power the phone on with it. You can do the SOS 5 clicks. If you're on the main screen before you log in with your passcode, it'll turn the screen on and off. But as soon as you put in the passcode, the button no longer works. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's obviously a software problem. iOS 11 has just been a fucking joke. I don't know if they were just in a time crunch to get it out or what, but it's fucking not been good. Alright, what the fuck are you? Where'd you come from? Oh, this is the one that was... Which one are you? Where'd you come from, little dude? Oh, you're from the box. That's right. You're David's phone. Let's see what David's doing. Oh, power button's not working on this one. That's right. He told me that. Duh. Alright, so the power button on this one doesn't work at all. Alright, so let's open this one up and do some readings. Most likely this one has some water damage in it. That's usually the cause of no power button working. They rarely fail. Micah hasn't had any problems, and Ashley hasn't either. But I've seen a lot of problems with iOS 11 that have been strictly software problems. If Stinger on the iPad 2, Stinger, what do you mean Stinger? Is that a chip name? What is the chip? I can tell you by that. You're fucking with 5 gigahertz base stations? Yeah, this is definitely a water damage phone. The shields are already off. I think I did baseband on this one. There's Captain tape over the shield wasn't put back on. Yeah, this is the one I did baseband on because I put a new sticker and stuff up here on top. Alright, so we'll open this one up. You're gonna go meet G-Lon next week? I'd love to go just fucking study. Like, just see what they do. Just have, like, watch him. I think that stuff's, like, really interesting. So let's check and see. Maybe we just have a bent pin here. I could have sworn this one worked on power button, though. 6 Plus now will bring up settings, but it's usually totally blank. Thank you, Ian. Alright, so let's look over here at the power button area. Let's look at the Flex first. Okay, so the Flex looks okay. Let's look at the connector. This pin is a little sunken in, so I'm going to get right behind it and just press down to push it out. Same here. Now by doing that, that'll push the pin forward and give you a little better connection. So let's hook those back up and let's see if it'll turn the power on now. Okay, so turn the phone on, so we know the button's working. What's up, Edge? We're actually trying to get the new location set up now. We haven't gotten the property that we want yet. We finally heard back from the other place last week or the week before, and they're jacking the prices up and telling us it could take 6 months to let us open the store. I don't feel like dicking with that. Alright, so now power button press, power button press, power button press, power button press, home button press, turns on, fingerprint scanner works. So that's all this one was. The power button wasn't working because the pin was bent in too far. So another easy fix. Woohoo! I won't charge anything for that one. That was too simple. But good thing we got it fixed. You still installing software, Michael?
What?
You still installing software?
I'm uninstalling software.
Why are you uninstalling software?
Because they got the crappy Indian
The
virus.
Indian virus removal
Yeah.
people? Nice. Is that the one that was blue screening?
Yeah, I tested the hard drive already. Hard drive tests out fine.
Do you think they fucked up the Windows operating system somehow?
The whole desktop's retarded. It's Windows 10, but it's like a Windows 8
Scan?
skin deal, and it's in like it won't go to the desktop. I can't get it to go to the desktop. I have to do everything through the search bar. And every time a new app opens or anything like that, I have to Windows just tab over to it, or I'll tab over to it, you know, whatever. But they've got it all fucked up.
Sounds like quality. Was this a current phone I'd work on before? Yeah. I did baseband on this one. It wasn't getting signal. It had a broken trace on, I think it was U1, which is the data line for the cell signal. Everything's the easy fix. No, that's not true at all. Not everything is the easy fix for me all the time. Sometimes they are absolute nightmares. Most of my streams end with me in utter destruction of not fixing anything. Alright, so let's move on to the next ones. I'll leave that one for last. We'll do the Touch IC next. Yeah, I mean, it's a returning customer. He brings us a lot of stuff. He's another shop in town, so I don't charge for petty shit like that. Like, especially even with some customers, like, as long as they're nice to me, if it's something simple, I don't mess with charging them for it. There's no sense in it. They'll come back for other things. Did you fix the 6 Plus with Air 9 CPU CNC? I've had one successful. Actually, 2. Take that back, 2. I've had like 3 unsuccessful. Makes you feel less worse when I struggle. I think that's a problem with YouTube or any type of videos that you see, especially edited videos. Like, everybody wants to put this foot out there and act like that they never make mistakes, but or they ever have issues working on these devices. Six Plus or 6? Most of mine have been 6. I've only had one 6 Plus that was like that. Yeah, I've had 2 iPhone 6 successful. One on stream, one off stream. This has a I'm going to show you all something. It's kind of funny. So this has a battery replacement in it. I don't know who makes the battery. It's got some custom logo on it. But I want you to see the tape in it. It's kind of, it might be actually smart the way they did this. I don't know. So normally the tabs on the iPhone batteries are at the bottom. But this one, they put the tabs at the top. So don't start yawning. I always yawn. Look, they put the pull tabs up here at the very top. It's kind of funny. They're not at the bottom. They're at the top of the phone. It's actually kind of, I guess, kind of smart because up at the top you have less chance of ripping those pull tabs. But if you're going for like authentic look, I don't think that's the way to do it. I'm sure this is probably, no, it's original screen. Yeah, it's original screen. Paul Daniels here. What up, Paul Daniels? Alright, so I'm going to get this board out of here. We can do Touch IC on it. Paul, have you done many Touch ICs yet? I know you've been doing TriStar. But have you stepped up to Touch IC? Yes. It's worse up top? Well, I don't know personally, so. Oh, yeah. Prod damage. That's true. Kind of like they did with the iPhone 5 series because nobody knew how to take batteries out appropriately. So they prod against the board. Yeah, Sage counts. Have you done any 6 Plus though? It should be pretty common. Bloomberg posted a story about the iPhone 10 face recognition accuracy being dumbed down to get the phone out. Oh yeah, I knew that was going to be a problem. Like, they're fucking stupid. Apple's just a bunch of idiots. So, Apple came out in their presentation and had problems with Face ID. And then they tried to act like Face ID was some new invention that they did because Touch ID was no longer modern or something. I don't fucking know what the hell they were trying to do. But they were pretty much just covering up for the fact that they failed to integrate Touch ID into the screen. And then acted like Face ID was the revolutionary idea that they'd been working on forever. And it doesn't even fucking work properly. One of the posts on the Apple support forums was, do you think Face ID is going to be convenient? I was like, no. I was like, who's going to be like, I want to pay with Apple Pay? Okay. Like, just look like a fucking retard standing in line waiting to pay, staring at your phone. Well, this board's been out before. They didn't hook up the antenna. It's never had Touch ICs done on it though. Tim Cook's World? Yeah, pretty much. What makes them better? I think the problem is, Yassine, it's the availability of the market. So in the US, if you want a machine or you want to do these things, parts are more expensive. In China, everything's really cheap because you're at the manufacturing place. Hello. Good.
Can I help you?
Picking up the 2 laptops from
Okay.
Amy's camper.
Yeah.
How's your work day? Yeah, that good?
It's a lot of people would not complain about what I've been through today, but I am just I didn't realize what a controlling person I was until now.
Yeah.
I drive my dad's. He has a Tesla,
Mhm.
and I had to drive it down to Nashville for him.
Yeah.
And I just don't want that responsibility anymore. I don't want it. I don't.
You didn't have any charges with these, did you?
No.
Okay. Didn't.
Which Tesla does he have? Is it the car or the sedan?
Yeah, it's a car, Model S. Is that right?
Yep.
It's a little key fobby dude. All it says.
Well, if you get tired of driving it, you just let me know.
And that's what I said. My nerves are shot.
I was looking at them the other day, used. They've got some with like 70,000 miles on them. They're like 37,000.
It's definitely an experience.
It's a different car, that's for sure.
What I can't get used to.
The sound?
I still can't. Well, that freaks me out. No, it's the propulsion.
Oh,
how I drive is I don't use my brakes a lot. I let off on the gas and I just kind of moderate my speed.
Yeah.
Well, this one,
it brakes on its own.
Yeah, it's if you don't have your foot on the accelerator, it just.
Yeah, it's.
How much is charging for the password reset?
What did I tell you? Was it 35?
45.
45? Okay.
I'll take 35.
Well, we'll do 35.
We can do 35. Yeah.
And what absolute filth did he have on this thing?
It wasn't that bad.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad at all. It really wasn't. I ran sea cleaner on it and
He just kept having these videos popping up all over the place.
well, I updated and ran malware bites again. It didn't find anything else.
I would check. Do you all use Internet Explorer or Chrome?
We try Chrome. There's one of our things that we have for the dealership. We have to use. It only works with Internet Explorer, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Everything else we use Chrome. Do you have a suggestion of?
I mean, Internet Explorer is just prone to more pop-ups. You can install a pop-up blocker. That'll help get rid of some of that stuff. Chrome usually has decent options for like add-ons and stuff.
Yeah, like that.
So we tend to use it quite a bit more.
just block all the ads out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's gonna be 80 even.
Yeah, I've shied away from Internet Explorer because of that.
It's
But
frustrating. One of the biggest things that we use is with the big, humongous bank, Ally.
mm-hmm.
We have to do work with them, and their website or their login and all their stuff you cannot use. You can't even use the new Internet Explorer. You have to use the old version.
Which is really odd because the older versions have more exploits in them.
You just sign that for me.
Like, can you spend a little bit less time with all the advertisements and actually pay someone to fix your website?
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
That'd be awesome.
Is the Wi-Fi doing well?
Yeah, I seem to be the only person that's still having a problem, but I think my iPhone is gone because I am also having a problem with my battery life really bad. So
Okay.
I think I have some funky doodah thing going on with my phone. But yes, he got the what is that thing
The name,
called?
the extender.
Yes, the extender. The other Chris logged in and got that all changed over and seems to be working. So
That's good. It's good.
yes, thank you very much.
I'm glad it's working out.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
No problem. You have a
Wonderful
good one.
night.
You too.
Oh, question. I know you don't have any laptops right now. You don't have
We'll
any-
have some of the really thin, like ultrabooks coming in.
Okay.
They won't have the full keyboard stuff.
I need one just for my text to kind of log in and out on, like clock in and out and
Mhm.
stuff. Would that be something that would be good for that? Or if you have,
I
can
think it'd
even
be a
do-
little overpriced for that.
Okay.
I can find something cheap if that's all you want.
Yeah, I just need it. It just right now what we have is the old towers, and I'm paying more in labor for them to sit there and it do its thing
Oh.
than you know what I mean. Than actually just buying
Yeah.
something new for them to clock in and out on. So
I mean, I'm sure we'll have something. I can show you some prices on stuff.
okay.
Alright.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tweeter's currently unavailable with the link. Alright, I'll have to check it out. I'm sure it changed. Alright, so I bridged one of the caps, but we got that cleaned up. Now we need to run our jumper. It's kind of funny. One of our competitors in town that does a little bit of the micro soldering stuff. They're the only company that we don't do any work with, and I've offered to do work for them, but I've not gotten any response. The owner offered me a job a long time ago. That was about the only response I got out of it. But he went to one of my competitors the other day, and one of the guys that works with us that brings us repairs that he doesn't do. And he was like, "Who does your micro soldering?" And he told him, he's like, "Well, Chris over at BNC does." He's like, "Oh, okay." And I guess he was kind of probing for pricing and stuff. And David, the owner of the other store, was like, he's like, "Yeah, Chris does a pretty good job." He's like, "Do you all do the jumper on all your stuff?" And he's like, "No, we don't do the jumper. The jumper falls off." So I found that kind of funny. He said, "We replace both chips. We don't do the jumper." Now I was thinking to myself, well, the jumper is the fix, and based on the videos that they put on their own website, they don't replace any chips. They just reheat the shit out of it, and if it works, good. If it doesn't work, tell the customer go to Apple. I just thought it was funny. It was like, "We don't do the jumper, it falls off." No, the jumper does not fall off. Especially if you do it correctly. The solder just gives up life and goes away. Look at this jumper falling off, guys. Moving it around. That poor jumper falling away. When you can't solder right? Yeah, pretty much. I really wish they would just send us their work. Like, I've had issues with their employees in the past of leaving fake reviews on my website, which I know the owner doesn't really directly tie to that, but I wish the owner would just let me do their work and then they wouldn't have as much problem. What size wire? You can use wick wire. We use 43 gauge magnet wire. 50 gauge magnet wire would do the same too, but the 43, I bought it a long time ago. It's 1 pound. I'll never use it all. I've been using it for over a year now. Big ego? Yeah, that's what I would think. It's got to be ego problem. We don't normally tell customers that we even do work for other people unless they're like bitching about our company or something. Like, we had one lady, she came in with an iPhone 6 that was liquid damaged really badly. I took off a bunch of chips to try to get the short relieved, and I never could get out the short. I'm not sure what was causing it. There was so much stuff wrong with it, and she wanted the phone to work. I was like, there's no way this phone's going to work again. I was like, I may be able to get data off of it, but that's it. And she was like, well, I don't want to do that. She was like, I want the phone to work. I was like, okay, well, why they play on the jumper? Jess's stream? Yeah, Jess was streaming. I don't know if she still is. But she was like, I want the phone back. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not going to sit there and put back every fucking cap, every IC I took off, because it's not going to work anyway. I mean, there was bad corrosion. Like, there was missing pads on areas, and like, it was just really bad. I don't know if it was salt water or what it was, but whatever it was extremely corrosive. Oh, the length. Early on, when I did some of the jumpers, I ran them directly from the via to the pad along the trace, and we actually had a few come back early on. They were actually breaking from the wire. If you leave a little bit of slack, if it breaks from the pad, the wire still has some give, because it's only soldered on the ends and not all the way down its length. Goot wick? Yeah, I don't like goot. I ran out of my tech spray. I gotta order more, but I've been using MG Chemical Super Wick. I would say it's comparable to the tech spray. Yeah, the Goot Wick green stuff. That's what I have too. I don't use it very often. Micah likes it. But anyway, what was that?
Using tech spray.
Are you using tech spray? I thought you were using the Goot.
I've been using tech spray.
What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, the lady comes, picks up her phone, and I put the shields back in it and gave it back to her. And I didn't put all the components back on because there was really no point in it. And she took it to another store in town that sends me all their board work. And they opened it up and looked at it, and he called me up. He's like, hey, did you work on this phone? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. He was like, I didn't know she had already had it worked on. He was like, I opened it up and saw there was some missing stuff. And I told her that there were some components missing, that you didn't know if that was maybe why it wasn't working. So she was pissed off, and I was like, okay, well, I was like, she can call me if she would like, but nothing there would keep the phone from turning on. I removed like the audio IC and like the backlight drivers and stuff. Nothing that would prevent the phone from booting. And I was like, just have her call me if she has a real like issue with it. And she calls me up and she's like, why are you taking stuff out of my phone? I was like, ma'am, I didn't take anything out of your phone. I was like, I removed stuff from it and didn't put it back in there because those items are badly damaged and would no longer be good. I was like, for the purpose of the phone to work, they would have to be replaced anyway. I was like, so I didn't necessarily take anything from your phone. I just removed the bad parts. And she's like, well, they're going to work on my phone and I need that stuff. And I was like, ma'am, those people send their stuff to me. So I can easily put all this stuff back in that doesn't work, but it's going to come back to me anyway. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you'd like to ask them, they don't do much board work stuff on this level, so they send it to me. And she's like, okay. I was like, just ask them. I was like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I was like, your phone is not going to function. I was like, you can take it anywhere, but it's going to cost you more than the phone's worth to get it working, if you can get it working. I was like, it's got bad, like, trace damage and stuff. And she was like, well, don't worry about that. I was like, okay. So, I mean, it's just hard to explain to customers that, like, functionality of the phone is the least of my concerns whenever it comes in for liquid damage. Like, functionality is, hey, we got it to turn on and it seems pretty minor. We can probably get this working again. It's not like, hey, I gotta get this working at all costs. I'm gonna put all my hours into it. No, Ian, I have the same problem with Goop, where the wick kind of spreads out at the end. That's why I went away from it. The weave in the braid isn't tight enough. Yeah, there really is a no point of return, Greg. You're right. I mean, at a certain point, you gotta say, is it more cost effective just to buy a board than putting all the work into it? And that's where I tell customers, okay, we can get the data, but there's no chance of me getting this working for less than it'll cost you to buy another phone. What's up, Paul? Is that a Mason? Yes, it is a Mason. It is indeed a Mason chip. We're going to reball that Mason chip now. Get our nice 3D stencil. So you can see this one doesn't have like a separate layer. It's all one piece and they're punched. And they're nice and thick. So if you listen to it, and then I'll get one of my thin ones. You can hear the difference in these. Like the really thin stuff just flexes a lot. And then they've got the cutouts, so if I move this around, it never leaves. It's not out of place. I really like them. Union Repair is where I got mine, and I've been extremely happy with them. We're going to do a giveaway today too. After this stream, I'm going to probably do some short videos off stream because they're going to be quick. We're going to talk about reviews on some products, and then I'm going to announce that we're going to do a giveaway. We'll explain what you have to do to be entered in the giveaway. If you like some of the products that we have, we'll be giving away the ones that we show. And then if you don't win the giveaway, we'll also provide the link if you want to buy them. Okay. Reball is done. I'll go ahead and clean that up a little bit. Maurice, try lowering your temperature a little bit if they're bending. I mean, my flex is a little bit. If you have a low resistance on 1V8, you probably need to find out why. If you're asking if we know why, no idea. 1V8 goes across the board, so you're going to have to kind of track it and find where it goes. Yeah, Edge, I like to keep the paste dry. I don't like a lot of flux in it. Flux causes it to boil out. Okay, so our balls are all shaped up there. Thin mints. Do I have a similar issue with what, Mark? With 1v8? No, I mean, I've had shorts on 1v8. I've had... Usually a low ohm resistance on the 1v8 line would indicate possibly a bad IC or some water damage. That would be the most common reason. Usually when caps fail, they fail completely. They don't fail partially. If it is a cap causing the short, usually heating that cap up will cause it to fail. Thank you, Martin. I'm glad you like my balls. Alright, so we're going to put some flux down. Take our IC. With the leaded on there now, the reflow time is very short. So I don't put coins back down. There's no need for them. So let the flux boil for a second. Let it cool for a second. And now we'll go back and reheat it until it settles into place. Okay, looks like it's settled. Alright. The IC is now in place. You reballed the faulty one? I've done that before too. Home Depot Burger King run. Spectre, enjoy. Ask where to drill a hole in her phone. For what? Alright, so we're going to check the how level the chip is here. It's nice and level across that front edge, so we know that the IC is sitting down flat. If the IC is not sitting flat, it'll cause issues. You finally ticked over 2,000? Sweet. I'm halfway to 3,000. Slowly. I need to stream more. It's just been really busy lately. I feel like Lewis does, like you start doing the same content over and over so it can kind of get monotonous. I don't know if you all want to see me do touch ICs all the time. I try to save stuff that's going to be interesting for stream, but sometimes I just have to get it done. I can't sit on it and wait. Yeah, 1v8 does go to LCM. The LCM 1v8 line. It can cause no image. Usually it will cause some type of visual, like on-screen flashes and stuff sometimes. So that's something to look for with a 1v8 issue. 62 watching? Yeah, we have quite a bit of people in here today. I think the most we've ever had was like 70 something. A big iron to pull the ICs? Yeah. I've done that on TriStars on iPhone 5s. Of course the phone's dead, so I can't test out Touch IC. What's up, Abu? Abu Saeed. How easy life would be. What's up, Joshua? Alright, so we're going to charge this one up and test out Touch IC. Like the stream. I guess likes help bump it up in the viewership. That's the one thing that likes do help. Drilling a hole in the CPU would fix the speaker. Oh God. That's where misinformation goes bad.
What is it?
He said a lady asked where she had to drill the hole in her phone, and he was like, for what? And she said their speaker wasn't working. He was like, just bring it in.
No. Drill the hole.
Drill the hole.
Drill the hole. Right near the bottom.
Thank you, Seed. Yeah, we've gotten quite a few subs. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy how much we've gained over the last, like, 6 months.
Pressure become popular with
The internet friends. These are all my friends right here.
All my internet friends.
All my internet friends. Mike, you just jealous you ain't got no internet friends. That's for Apple ID. Yeah, you have to drill the CPU to get rid of the Apple ID.
Yeah, there you go.
It lets all the Apple out. You gotta pour out the old ID and put in a new one. Shit, I remember you can go back and look at my first videos. They're terrible. The first one I ever did was a Touch IC with no audio. Because all I had was the camera. Sub nobody. Well, thank you, Eric. iPhone 6s low. Okay, I understand you have low resistance. Is the phone water damaged at all, Mark, or no? How you to Wiz? How you doing, Wiz? Is that your real name? Or is that your nickname? Or is Martin just being mean? She was at Home Depot across the street and wanted to know what size drill bit to get.
Good. If someone asks that, then you just let them do it.
Mark, if the LCD is going blank, it means you're probably losing that power line. So you need, if you think it's an LCD 1V8 problem, you need to isolate the 500 milliamp or 500 ohm short. Well, it's not really a short, but the 500 ohm resistance, you need to isolate if it's on the PMIC side or the LCD side. That's no problem, Yassine. You shared a lot too, man. What's up, Flash Repair? How you doing? 3/4 inch drill bit? Sounds about right. That's probably the size of the CPU. You did an SMD cap replacement on a TV with a mini blowtorch. I've seen people do that before. It's crazy. People do that with the old Xboxes too. They put the heatsink on it and then heat it up with a blowtorch.
No, wait, what?
They put the heatsink on the GPU and then take a blowtorch to heat
relock.
up the Error 14 changed NAND, now says unable to switch to DFU mode to recovery mode. Isn't that the same problem you were having before? It wouldn't come out of DFU, it would just stay in DFU. First Arabic fan? I don't think so. I think we have a few. But if you are, congratulations. My PC, it's an older AMD FX chip. It's a FX 6300, I think. It's a 6-core, 4-point-something gigahertz processor, but being as fast as the clock speed is, it's really slow. I would recommend any like business class desktop that has like a Core i5 or something in it. Like a 4th or 5th gen Core i5 you can pick up for like 100 and something, $200. You can buy some that have like a 7th gen i5 in them for like $300 if you really want to spend a little money on them. for the RAM, I've got 12 gigs of RAM, which is overkill. You're going to get banned. I've got a GTX 1050 Ti GPU that does all the encoding. I've got a 240 gig solid state and a... Oh, God. I've got a 1 terabyte storage drive. And a Elgato HD 60S capture card. Everything else is pretty much what comes on the board. Alright, so it's booting up. Yeah, I saw that. The AP line to Tigris, it's pretty cool. I mean, all that comes down to them just digging into a test board and finding where the line goes. I wonder how common that is, though. That I've never seen that problem before. Alright, so our phone is on, and our phone is acting weird. Okay, so touch is working. Touch ID. I don't think I have it plugged in. Oh, I do. Yeah, whatever. Not my phone. So touch works side to side. We'll go into settings. This isn't on the newest software, so that's good. i7 950 with a Quadro 1 gig. 8 gigs DDR3. Runs 3 cameras so far, no sweat in the test. Yeah, I mean, my first computer that I started streaming with was a Intel Core 2 Quad with no GPU, and it would do 720 fine. My computer setup is overkill. I could probably run it set at 1080 at 60 frames, but I don't know that my internet would like me too much. I think it's set to 1080p at 30 frames right now. Alright, so accessibility, assistive touch, turn it on. We'll test every corner to make sure that touch is working. Slide diagonally. Alright, so everything's good. Touch is good. We'll put this one back together. Oh, there you go. So the power button's not working on this one with the screen on. Now let's press it 5 times though. Yep, see? It works when you press it 5 times. Gion knows knows iPhones better than Apple. He knows how to fix them better than probably Apple does, but Apple knows their phones better than anybody. Now the Genius Bar, they don't know a damn thing about it. But the engineers know the ins and outs of the iPhone pretty well. The other guy, you talking about Micah? M-I-C-A-H? Wondering about PMIC for iPhone 7. Is possible to remove it easy? Easy is a relative term there. It's underfilled. It's not going to necessarily be easy. Five times. Yeah, the SOS button, Paul. On iOS 11, if you enable SOS, if you press the power button 5 times in succession, it'll dial either a preset number you put in, or it'll call the local emergency response. So, like, for us, it would be 911 for emergencies. That will call the police.
Po-po.
I called him popos, man. I personally think it's a stupid fucking addition, but whatever. Yeah, accidentally do that. That's what I was thinking too. Somebody's gonna have it in their pocket dialing the police all the time. iPhone 6 heats up a lot, doesn't charge much. Maybe battery. Is the battery bad? It was a bit of water damage around the Wi-Fi, I see. Sweet. Glad you got it figured out, Mark. I told you liquid damage is usually what will cause partial shorts. Usually, it's either liquid damage or an IC. Caps fail. They fail. They either work or they're a wire. Yeah, you can disable it in settings. Oh, removing the PMIC, the drop one, yeah. I can't remember who told me that. I think it was Ben Nash that told me to drop the PMIC. It's awesome. You don't ever have to worry about it heating up. Oh, phone was dropped and it drains battery quickly. Alright, Tech, it sounds like you have a partial short on a voltage line. You're going to have to find it. Press like. Thank you, Paul. Paul, how you doing? You feeling better? Muhammad, it could be the audio IC, like talking between baseband, or it could be a transceiver IC for the baseband. I would do audio IC first, though. I think you're on the right track with that. We had one last week that had no audio in phone calls at all. And I replaced both transceiver chips, and that wasn't it. It was actually the audio IC that was bad. Which is really weird, because I figured, because everything else on it worked. Like, audio worked on voice memo and all that stuff, but it didn't work on phone calls. So I assume one of the lines between baseband and the audio IC was damaged, and it wasn't receiving it on the audio IC end. So after replacing it, we had audio back. For some reason, this screw is demagnetized, and it's making life living hell. I have a feeling this screw is out of an iPhone 5S and not for this board. It's a third one within a week? Damn. I've had a few iPhone 7s come in for local service. Well, not local, but both of them were AT&T. And for some reason, they had new SIM cards put in and the old SIM card was tested. They'll get signal for like 10 seconds and then it goes to no service. But if I put my SIM card in, it'll get service and never drop it. So something was up with like maybe the towers or where the SIM card was set up or something. I don't know. I saw 2 different people with the same exact issue. Not too bad, just back surgery thing I did to burn the nerve, to grow back, made it worse. I was on holiday and the dog saw yesterday. Didn't I help him also? That sucks. So the nerve itself regenerates, Paul? Like your body makes the nerve ending again? Alright, so it's working. Your mother. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Chinese gotta fix an iPhone 7. Yeah, SD RAM short. That's pretty common on the iPhone 7s. Yeah, I mean, some of those guys are unreal how good they are. I mean, it just comes with practice. That's all it is. I really need to sit down. I've got a bunch of boards now that I can test and work on. I need to sit down and practice just pulling SD RAM. I think the key there is you've really got to figure out your temperatures. Like, The iPhone 7 underfill on the CPU is pretty hard, so it doesn't give like the old stuff does. So I think it's easier to do the SD RAM on them. But still, I mean, the amount of practice that goes into it is nuts. Like, you gotta have a feeling of how it works. It's something you just have to keep doing and keep doing and keep doing. I think if you had somebody to teach you, though, you could learn much faster. But it's still something that requires a lot of practice. You have no idea where the 0.9 volts goes? What phone is it on, Nate? Is it 6S? Excuse me. Tech, yeah, probably. We could probably fix it. I'd have to track down what it is and see what's causing it. That's why you're going to China? How much is it going to cost you, Yassine? Alright, so phone's back together. Touch is still working. We're good to go on this one. I'm going to have to press the power button 5 times to power it off. Oh, now power button's working. So see on the home screen, power button works perfectly fine. Oh, now it's working. Man, this is weird. Like, there's got to be something about the phone. Nah, fuck it. It's working now. I don't care. Success. Found a ticket for $500. Got an apartment for $30 a night. Food is cheap. Yassine, do you know the language, or are you going to have somebody that's going to help you? That's the one thing for me for like traveling abroad. I don't know hardly any languages. I know English and very little of Spanish and very little of French. Very, very little. I need to start studying different languages so I can learn. It's better to learn that when you're a kid. Kids can pick up languages so much faster. 60 milliamp. If it's getting 60 milliamp draw, see if it's in DFU mode. Most common issue that I've seen on each iPhone since the 6S. iPhone 7's SD RAM shorts after drops. iPhone 7 liquid damage is usually most effective down towards the bottom where the backlight driver shit is. iPhone 6S damage up near the screw hole causes no signal. 6S has TriStar problems. Air 9 is usually NAND problems with the 6S series. Air 4013 can be NAND, but not always. Sometimes it's baseband. Yeah, Canada's second language is French. Yeah. $3,500 and it takes 5 months. Jesus fuck. I mean, that's not very expensive, but 5 months. Ugh. CPU reballing for 1 week. Trying to think of other problems that they have. iPhone 7 has audio IC issues that can cause glitching touch. One of the lines that goes to the CPU can get broken and cause data line issues that cause the CPU to slow down, which causes the touch to act sporadic. Honestly, the 6S series don't have as many problems. The 7s are very sensitive to drops, though. That's for sure. The 6S series, though, seems to be the most robust one they've made in a while. Ever had deaf people come in? How do you communicate with them? Writing? Piece of paper?
Yell as loud as you can.
Yeah. Micah yells at him as loud as he can. Micah just starts screaming.
Can you hear me now?
He just yells really loud and talks slow.
I'm deaf, not retarded. Oh, I'm going to hell.
Huh, that's pretty cool, Anthony. Alright, so let's look up the 6S 1.9 volt line. Alright, so switch to secondary. We need to go to 6S. 4005, a CPU issue. Yeah, can be. I think it can also be NAND. Touch IC was hard enough to learn on your own. Yeah, it can be difficult. Alright, so in ZXW, we're going to go down here and we're going to pull up the line that he's talking about. So we need PP09LDO3. Is that the one you needed? Alright, so that looks like it's a baseband power line. Comes from baseband PMU right here, and it goes to the baseband. C3125. Okay. Yes, -1 is usually baseband. Ah, god damn it. Fuck you. ZXW. -1 is usually always baseband related. Not necessarily the baseband itself, but it can be. Alright, so let's see. iPhone 6S. It's a fat cap under your TriStar. This guy? RF? Yeah, it's created by baseband PMU. Right here. Right there. Yeah, Nate, I would replace the chip. Is there any short on the line? Fix-It Pro, I would first start and see if you have any shorts on the main power rails. I would then check to see if your voltages are present, and then if they are, I would reball baseband. Reball it. ZXW was shitty today? Yeah. Alright, so no short on that line, but I did have VCC main short on the caps to the left of that IC. So here. Yeah, if you had a short here, was this a liquid damage phone? Because if it was, then I would guess that this chip probably has corrosion under it. Because anytime you have corrosion on the VCC main caps, which are right there, usually that means you're going to have corrosion under this chip. Where should you start your short check? I would first check VCC main and bat VCC to see if will that 0.9 line cause no boot. I think on the 6S, no baseband will cause no boot. On the 6 series, I don't think it cares. I think on the 6S you have to have baseband present for it to boot up. See, Mohammed? No liquid damage? Replace it anyway. Oh yeah, that's the only way to rule it out. If it's not making the power, you could have a missing signal telling it to make the power, but I would go ahead. If it's an LDO, there shouldn't be any. Well, I'll take it back. If there's an LDO, there usually is a signal line. It's just an LDO built into the actual chip itself. So it's taking the input voltage, whatever it is, if it's VCC main or something else, and it's dropping it down to 0.9 volts. Just like the camera LDO does. But I would assume the baseband PMIC has an enable for the entire chip, not just for individual lines. Can use 7. No, but I can 8.
Whoa! You just one up them.
Can I reprogram baseband? No. You can. I can't, but you can, yeah. I don't know if you can for newer devices, but you can for older ones. Thank you, Promise. Alrighty, so I think that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this one. I'm gonna do the off-stream recording for the reviews.
Thanks. I'll send more if this works.
You don't need to, Nate. Thank you, though. Thank you for the donation. Exchanging rabbit holes for fun? I don't know if that's fun. I would love to see a website where people can post up rabbit holes that they've solved, but a lot of rabbit hole stuff is just kind of random most of the time. But anyway, I will see you all later. I'm going to do the reviews on these products, and then we're going to submit the requirements if you all want to win those items. There'll be free shipping unless it's like $6 million, and then sorry, we'll figure something out. But we'll be giving away some of the stuff we're reviewing, and if you all like this stuff, I'll give you links if you want to buy it. But everybody have a good night, and I will talk to you all later. See ya.